I think, with COVID right now, what we're seeing is all these things that were in the background, disparities being one of them, are being accelerated. And disparities, I think, is one of those issues where you see now COVID-19 is disproportionately affected ethnic minorities. It's been challenging as a researcher because it has affected our operations. It has certainly disrupted clinical care in general. Early on in the pandemic, it was clear that patients with cardiovascular disease were susceptible to the virus. They had more severe forms of the disease. The majority of patients that needed ICU had some form of cardiovascular disease. We decided to make an opportunity out of this crisis and try to understand that. That's what we do in research. If you remember, early on in the pandemic, we didn't have PPE. And so patients were being treated differently. So we have about 1,000 patients and we can compare. The mortality of COVID patients was significantly higher, 32%. So almost 1 in 3 patients with COVID will die. For a patient with a regular heart attack with no COVID, that is in the low single digits. It shouldn't be more than 4 or 5%. And I think the message, if you remember in March, April, was if you have COVID, stay home, don't come to the hospital, self-isolate for 2 weeks. And the results were not very good. We saw a significant increase in cardiac arrest at home. Some of that might have been COVID, but we believe that some of that was heart disease that was not treated. And so we're trying to change that message. We learned that the hard way, the hospitals are not the same as bars and restaurants, that you cannot shut them down. In particular, the clinic environment. People still need to come to clinic and report symptoms. I've seen way too many cases of patients presenting late with heart attacks because they thought they had COVID. And time is muscle. If you present 2 weeks after a heart attack, there is not much we can do other than medications. But if you present within 2 hours of a heart attack, we can open that artery and we can preserve that muscle, and you can have a normal life after that. So it makes a big difference if you present in a timely fashion versus if you delay care. We need to understand that. I don't have the answers yet, but it's clear, the signals are very clear that these patients are disproportionately affected by COVID-19. There is hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Until we get to that point where a significant proportion of the population is immune to this disease, we have to continue to function the best we can.